Last night we received the latest Counter-Strike 2 update, which is a bit larger in size once again. This one brings a lot of improvements to the table with a heavy focus on maps. This is most likely a direct result of the recent Counter-Strike 2 tournament. I believe this was the first Counter-Strike 2 tournament that took place in Sydney and concluded just a couple of days ago. I'm very glad to see that Valve is taking feedback from the pro players and is improving the maps accordingly. As always, of course, timestamps will be in the description down below, so if you want to skip ahead to a specific topic, feel free to do so. Let's start off with the miscellaneous changes for the 25th of October. Valve has fixed some cases where weapons could fall out of the world, and they also fixed a bug where Molotov self-damage could be incorrectly penalized as team damage, which is really good that they fixed these issues. They've improved performance for muzzle flashes and HE grenades, which we will take a look at now. As you can see in the background, we definitely see some performance improvements in comparison to before, which is really good to see. However, the HE grenade effects and also still the muzzle flashes definitely degrade performance by quite a bit, and I really hope that Valve will have some further improvements in the near future for this. They've added code to correct packets that arrive out of order in quick succession. These packets were showing up as a loss in the net graph, and this no longer should be the case. Previously you were seeing network issues quite often in the net graph, which should no longer be the case after this update, as far as I understand it. And they also made some further improvements to the network code, which I think is the meaning of this other patch note. We also received various bug fixes and tweaks to weapon finishes and stickers as per usual. This time around I believe quite a few knife finishes have been adjusted by Valve, and for stickers I'm not entirely sure which ones have been changed, but I heard from players that some of the foil stickers have received some slight adjustments. Moving on to the most important part of this video, the map changes. We have received changes for Inferno, Overpass, Nuke, Dust 2, Anubis, Office, Vertigo, Mirage and Ancient, so basically changes for all shipped maps. Unlike for previous patches, Valve has included detailed change notes for each map, which is really great to see, so we have an easier time figuring out what exactly has been changed, and this is also ensuring that we do not miss certain parts, which I'm very glad about. So kudos to you Valve for including detailed patch notes, and it also makes my job a bit easier, so thanks for that. Anyways, let's move on to the maps now. Starting off with the changes for Inferno, we're gonna start on bomb site A this time around. They've adjusted the garage door on bomb site A to improve player readability and clipping, which you can see right now on screen. Part of the railing on balcony has also been removed, which is now going to allow for an easier entry and also clearing of certain areas like the roof part. This is also going to take away a position that I personally used sometimes when I was playing on CT side, which is a bit unfortunate, but I think overall this seems like a pretty decent improvement. The grenade bounces on roof and stone models have been improved to make them more predictable. I believe this is most likely a direct result of the recent Counter-Strike 2 tournament and is going to be a reoccurring patch note throughout this video. They fixed various micrographs which I wasn't able to spot any of before the update, and also fixed the lighting bug on the Inferno workshop map. On bomb site B, one of the cones has disappeared, which you can see on screen right now, and Valve has made some slight improvements to the visibility of the bomb when planted in the fountain, which you can see on screen right now as well. Lastly, for Inferno, we have overall clipping and movement polish, which I assume is referring to clipping brushes being improved. If that's actually what Valve is referring to with this, then that seems like a really great change. Let's move on to Overpass. Overpass has received some slight adjustments on bomb site B to one of its graffitis that Valve recently added. It is now slightly brighter than before, which is hopefully going to help with visibility. The buildings surrounding bomb site A have seen some slight adjustments to their textures, which you can see on screen right now, and one of the buildings in the background had its height adjusted with this update as well, which I'm not entirely sure why this is the case, but it is just something I wanted to point out. Overpass has also received some brand new lights in certain areas to help with player visibility, which seems like a pretty good change. And the tree on Playground has seen some adjustments to its leaves, which you can see once again on screen right now. Overpass also received some adjustments to grenade clipping in various areas. As mentioned earlier, this is going to be a reoccurring patch note for a lot of these maps. Moving on to Nuke. I unfortunately forgot to record some before footage for this video, which I'm quite sorry for. I kinda forgot about Nuke, I'm not entirely sure how this happened, but for this map, we unfortunately do not have any comparison footage. Some of the adjustments I would like to highlight with Nuke is that Valve has made some adjustments to grenade bounces, in this case on the ramp. They've also fixed some collision issues and some cases where players clip through the garage door at lobby. They've improved player visibility on bomb site B and made some various other fixes. They've also removed the dynamic light at Squeaky to prevent shadows giving away player position through the doorway. Overall, Nuke has received some pretty important changes, which is really great to see. For Dust 2, Valve fixed micro cracks in crate models. I'm not entirely sure which crate has been changed here, but it seems like the same crate is used on other maps as well, like Ancient as an example, so if you know more about this, feel free to leave a comment down below. Let's move on to Anubis. They once again fixed the grenade clipping in and around bomb site B to prevent grenades getting stuck in tight spots. Like I said earlier, this is going to be a reoccurring patch note. They also fixed multiple cases where drop weapons clip through world geometry. Unfortunately, I wasn't aware of any of these spots, but it's good they fixed this. The same also applies for fixing the missing collision on geometry, where the C4 could be thrown out of the map, which is a very problematic thing if that would be the case, so a really great change. They finally fixed multiple holes and cracks in the world. One of them in particular we talked about quite a lot on this channel. It is the staircase right here, where previously there was a gap, but this has been finally fixed. Thank you, Valve. They clipped off multiple areas where players could stack, providing an unfair vantage point. One of them was on bomb site B. This was quite problematic before the update, so I'm very glad these have been fixed. Some light map issues around CT spawn water have been resolved as well, and they've also improved player readability in the middle of the map. The CT team intro position has been changed. Previously it was in this awkward location, but it has been now moved closer to the actual CT spawn, which just makes a lot more sense to be honest. And lastly for Anubis, overall clipping and movement polish. Moving on to Office. Office has received some improvements to the player readability at the CT spawn, where Valve has adjusted the lights. They fixed some lighting artifacts on crates at low settings, which you can see on screen right now. Previously a white line appeared, which now no longer seems to be the case. Unfortunately, they've also disabled the motion on the vending machine, so you're no longer able to move these around, and once again, overall clipping and movement polish. On Vertigo, they fixed the ladder collision blocking bullets and grenades. As you can see on screen right now, this was previously an issue where bullets and grenades were basically blocked by an invisible part of the ladder. This is now no longer the case and is a very good change. They also fixed the steel beams having incorrect surface properties, and once again we have received overall clipping and movement polish. Mirage has seen some smaller adjustments. They fixed various bullet penetration issues, and the self boost onto triple or firebox has made its return to the game, which I think a lot of players are going to be quite happy about. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said for some of the other self boosts, which have not made a return. Lastly, for the map changes, let's talk a bit about Ancient. Valve has made fog adjustments to improve player visibility. This is especially noticeable in the first comparison, which you can see on screen right now. There's definitely a slight improvement here. The micro cracks in the crate models have been fixed, as well as multiple holes and cracks in the world. They've also made visibility adjustments to the donut area, which are really fantastic. This is now a lot better than it was before, and I think this is going to be a beneficial change. The bullet penetration issues have been fixed through the wood panels near bomb site B. I'm not entirely sure what they're referring to with this. If you know more about this, feel free to leave a comment down below. And they fixed the material properties on some tarp models. Lastly, for Ancient, overall clipping and movement polish once again. However, I would like to point out that there is still some issues regarding clipping brushes. This is especially noticeable in the tunnel near T-spawn, where you still get occasionally stuck on the wall. And I would also like to highlight that on bomb site A, there's still this weird clipping issue with this crate. I'm not entirely sure what is going on here, but sometimes you get stuck on an invisible part, which I don't think should be part of this crate. Since we didn't cover the smaller patches from the 19th and 20th of October, let's briefly talk about those. For the 19th of October, Valve added a startup check for incompatible AMD graphics drivers, and they've now begun reversing the Vac bans for affected players. For the miscellaneous bug fixes, they finally adjusted the sticker sizes on some weapons, in this case on the Legacy Desert Eagle and M4A1S model. I specifically mentioned the Legacy model because on the brand new CS2 model, as far as I'm aware, at least for the Desert Eagle, these stickers are still oversized. And for the 20th of October, Valve added more client information to the screen timestamp label to help investigate reported issues. MrMaxim made a really fantastic video covering this change and explains what this brand new information may actually stand for. I will leave a link to it in the description down below, definitely make sure to check it out. Anyways, that's going to conclude today's video. Thank you so much for watching it, I hope it was informative, and as always of course, I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.